Hello, what's up people? Welcome to the new year. I hope you had a happy new year. Today we're going to be playing some more Digimon, but not just your standard Digimon content. Today we're doing something a little bit different. Start off the new year a little bit right? So if you haven't known, the past year we've had a lot of regionals and Evo Cups. So Digimon sent us all a survey to fill out, and I decided, hey, you know what? I should fill out the survey. I played in quite a few of these tournaments. I have quite a lot of things to say, and I scrolled down, answered the questions, yada yada yada, and then I noticed this. What alternate gameplay formats would you be interested in if held together with regular champion series? And I'm like, regular rules, cool. And then I saw casual format. I'm just like, all right. Players can redraw their entire hand, so you can get a free mulligan. And there is a side deck like in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was like, that sounds interesting. And then I scrolled down and saw more and more and more formats. Some of these are really wacky. Boss rush format, both players start their turn at 10 memory. Guardian format. What are all these formats? Then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna ask my buddy Gyro to see if he wants to play one of these formats with me. And I kind of want to play all these formats. I'm not gonna lie, they all look really interesting. So we're gonna try to go down the list, see what we like. But today we're gonna start with Super Security format because this thing looks hella interesting. Both players start with 10 security cards, and all security Digimon have skip the battle and play this card. So we go from immediate battle. Nothing dies when hitting security, but the card gets played every time, which is kind of crazy. It's kind of a nutty effect. And also there is no recovery. So we both have 10 security, which is, I mean, this is a really interesting format. We decided to give this a try, but before we get into it, let's take care of some housekeeping rules. Number one, this is the first time me and Gyro has ever played this format and these weird decks that we built for it. So if you see misplays, deal with it. You know, it's gonna happen. You'll see specifically on my end how I'm not used to the fact that Digimon just come out of security all the time. So you're gonna see some misplays, but that's fine because this is meant to be a fun video. Two, sometimes you'll see Gyro's hand. It's fine. You know, I don't look at his hand. I try my best to look away from the screen as much as I can. Only whenever he's doing something that I need to look at do I look at the screen. So if you see his hand, don't worry about it. Content's still pretty good. And three, I'm gonna put up pictures of the cards, you know, like your standard tabletop matchup kind of video, but I'm only doing it for the first time you see the card. I'm not gonna be doing like 30 minutes of card pictures. I'm not doing any of that. And four, if you like my opponent, if you like Gyro, or you like any of the mats that we have on screen, they both come from his tournaments. So check him out. Link to Gyro's in the description. He has all these really cool win and mat tournaments that are all really fun. So, you know, check him out. And we're going to go ahead and hop right into the gameplay. Hey guys, welcome back. Oh, why am I even doing my intro again? We already had the intro. We're going to be doing some cool gameplay today. I'm going to go ahead and play Izzy and Joel. My opponent sets up, but it's me versus Gyro. We have some really interesting decks for you today. In my head, because of the rules of Super Security, I was thinking Mechazoo was like 100% to play because obviously everything that gets hit from security, I want to give me some sort of value. So it's going to be either a Zuba or a Ragna piece that is easy to evolve from, or maybe some of the Greymon line from the starter deck that can pop things when it hits the board. Maybe some other things like Machine Dramon or other blockers as well as a bunch of strong options, because in my head every time I hit security I want to have the option in my hand to deal with the threat that could come out, because you never know when you're going to hit something like a AURABOMB in security that just gets hard played and then you just have to deal with the fact that there's an AURABOMB on board. So I want to make sure that my deck was rife with strong options on play as well as really strong security as well. That's what I was going for. But I like Gyro's deck a lot better. He's playing a really interesting combination of both AURABOMB and Gallantmon. So he's playing stuff like Megidramon that mills the top 5 cards of your deck because it's hoping that since it's 10 security, and which means that your deck is now 40 instead of 45 cards, 35 instead of 40 cards because you're starting hand of 5. Every time you evolve into Megidramon, you're essentially getting rid of 1/7 of their deck, or 1/5. No, 1/7, right? Because yeah, that's right. So 1/7 of the deck their starting deck, I should say, which is kind of nuts. That combined with the fact that these games will go longer means it should be a lot easier to deck out your opponent. And also, Gallantmon is really strong at that point, because Gallantmon's ability to trash your security for every 10 cards in your trash should be a little bit more powerful late game because of how long these games go. And obviously, there's the other Gallantmon that can take lots of security at the same time as well. So those are the two strategies. His strategy I like a lot. I really am interested. If this was a real format, this would be a really interesting way to take it for sure. I am very, very interested in his deck, but I really like, Ragna a lot. When I think Mega Zoo, I think Ragna. Ragna is a really cool deck. It was one of my favorites in the BT3 meta for sure. But he's gonna go ahead and swing with Gallantmon, 4 checks because of Volk, because of Tai, and because of his own check. Obviously, we hit 2 Geo Greymons, which sucks because he has nothing I can get value off of, so there's no bodies to pop. We get a Zuba, and finally the last check is Iron Fist to kill the guy, which is kind of annoying that he went through all 4 checks, especially when they're both Greymons that don't do anything for me, especially while he has a blocker on board. And he's going to go ahead and Gaia Force, get rid of my Bri. I'm really trying to get these Bris to stick. Obviously there's going to be more than enough level 10s, and he probably has options from the way his deck looks. It looks like it's very evolution based, so he probably doesn't have as much space for options. So eventually my guys will stick, especially when I keep seeing stuff like his Gaia Forces go to the bottom of the deck. We just saw one go to the bottom, and obviously he just played one. So, it's more than likely my stuff will stick eventually. He can't have all the options in his hand at all times. So I'm deciding if I want to attack here. In hindsight, I probably should have swung with a Zuba, but I didn't want to get blocked and just, die for no reason. But what I could have done is I could have swung with Zuba, get blocked, crash with a Geo Greymon, and then start attacking with my other Geo Greymons in hindsight, so that I wasn't forced to use stuff like the Ultimate Flare in my hand just to get rid of his blocker, and as well as another Digimon. And then also now he can evolve into War Groundmon, which I didn't even see coming at all. Once again, these are our first time playing these decks. I did not know, we don't know anything about each other's decks whatsoever going into this. So obviously I was surprised when I saw the War Groundmon being able to easily take care of my Zuba. Another thing that I'm seeing here that I probably should have done, knowing that he's playing Geo Greymon, I should have swung with Zuba first instead of Geo Grey. That way, now I just lost my Zuba for no reason. But now, as you can see, like, sure, I got like 4 checks in, which is cool, but now he has 3 bodies on board, and I have to respond somehow, and I don't know how. Obviously, this is a really interesting, playing Magidramon's really interesting because I don't want to ever delete the Magidramon because I don't want him to summon his Gallantmons ever. So it is awkward and really smart on his part to be playing this deck. I think it's really, really cool given the confines of this format. I don't know how much thought he put into this, but my God. And then he's gonna go ahead and start cleaning my board, crashing. I should have done the same, honestly, but once again, I'm not used to the idea that stuff comes out of security, so it is weird to play around something that I've never even seen before. But he's gonna go ahead and Gaia Force my Bri. Once again, that should be 3 Gaia Forces gone because the other ones are in the bottom of the deck. So ideally, I don't see any more Gaia Forces the rest of the game. But I'm gonna go ahead and evolve into Rise here. So obviously, this is where things work out. If I can get the evolution next turn, I will be able to hit with Ragna with 3 checks because of Tai and Ragna being red, and I have 2 level 6s under my Ragna using its own ability. So ideally he doesn't kill my Rise. I figured now that I've seen 3 Geo Greys, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. And there's a Duranda already hitting the board. So now if I have 2 Ragnas in hand and 3 Ragna pieces, level 6 pieces, I'm gonna be able to hit double Ragna on board for really cheap and start swinging a lot of security. That's gonna be my goal here. To see if we can pull it off, and just like that we can. Finally, we were able to take a bunch of security here. We're gonna evolve into Ragna, put the Duranda underneath. I guess it's probably good for me to swing over Magidramon here because I will be able to respond to the Galmon that's gonna hit the board in a little bit. And now we're doing 3 checks with piercing and we're reboot blocker. So we are a really strong presence. Obviously, the only thing that can deal with us is removal. So we're gonna hope there is no Gaia Forces insecurity since we've already seen 3. He's gonna play the Galmon in hand. Agumon. So here's where things get kind of awkward, right? Agumon Expert can grab any Agumon from the trash, which is cool for him. But this is what I'm talking about. Like, it's cool that I'm able to deal with hit a bunch of security and deal with a Digimon. But now I have to deal with all of these Digimon that hit the board just now. And I have to decide what's worth, like going all the way in and trying to be able to swing for game the following turn and put myself in a position where he can't respond that turn, or if I should just go ahead and just I don't stop swinging. And I think what I should have done is I shouldn't have swung with Luda. I should have just taken my time. I could have won the following turn if he didn't kill my own Ragna, but here I'm forced to use Gaia Force on that Galmon because I don't want him to trash all my cards in security. Like, he already has a lot of things and I only have one blocker. But because I have 4 security and I'm going to be able to block one guy, and my security is generally stacked, I'm feeling pretty confident going into this. Once again, I can't stress enough how the majority of my deck is options plus Greymons that can pop things. And already we got Gaia Force to kill the Gallimon. So as you can see, I'm feeling pretty confident in the fact that we'll be able to delete more Digimon. So I'm hoping that something else will be able to delete these Digimon, whether it's like he's swinging with his Agumons first because he's smart. He knows that swinging the weaker guys first in case of seeing Rise Greymons is smart. We're going to summon a Ragna, which is really powerful for sure, being able to summon a big boy like that. Here I'm just going to block this guy because it's better to block now. And then we got Durandamon, which is great, but unfortunately he has double Aguni, another thing I really just didn't see coming from his deck. But yeah, we did lose to double Aguni. It was a really close game for sure, but unfortunately we did lose to double Aguni. So this is gonna be, I think this is one of our very first games. Sorry for like the choppy gameplay on its Discord. Not much you can do about that. But he's gonna go ahead and set up here. I already started with my turn 1 Izzy, as I do. Greymon here, pop the guy. As you can imagine, my deck is not very not very evolution based, so there's gonna be a lot of hard playing you can see. But there's the Aguni, evolving into Lava. Or Lavo. Another card I'm just like surprised I'm surprised to see the deck that he's playing for sure. I was actually kind of impressed, but he's gonna put me at 1 memory, go to 3 because of my guy, and let's see what we can do here. I'm debating if I want to swing. It might be worth swinging just to like, force either a block or just. Also, he will fix his security in a minute, guys. Don't worry about it. It doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna go ahead and play another Joe because obviously if he's gonna keep bodies on board, his board is generally pretty big in this game. I want to make sure I have as many Joes as possible. Evolving into the guy already is quite scary for me. I really want to remove it. I don't know if I have a removal card in my hand, but I don't think I do because I put my hand down and I think I'm just gonna pass here. Yeah, I'm just gonna pass because there's nothing I can do right now. My hand is probably just Ragna pieces, I would imagine. But he's gonna go to play Agu, grab the Agumon, play it, and start searching for more tamers once again. Those, I swear, Agumon almost never lands. But here we're gonna start having 7 memories because his board is pretty big. I really want to start deleting things, but I have to figure out how I'm gonna delete it. But here we're just gonna start evolving in Ragna. Ideally, I can find Rise Greymon quickly so I can evolve into Rise and start doing Ragna stuff, which is what I want to do. Just gonna evolve here just to draw. I could hard play it, and we're gonna Gaia Force. Definitely get rid of that Galmon before it starts checking a bunch of security. He hasn't found a tie yet, which is lucky for me. I don't need him to be taking too much security at the same time. But at the same time, like in hindsight, I'm thinking about it. I'm just like, why don't I just let him take security? Especially early game, I want him to hit security as much as I can because like if I'm not in a threat of losing, then at least I get a bunch of bodies and I can start doing stuff with those bodies. So it is definitely a weird format and definitely warps the way I play the game because I do not play the game like this for sure. But this game is going, as you can see, it's pretty slow so far. We're both just, hard playing stuff, playing pretty slowly. He does have a tie. Tie's going to help him draw a bunch of cards, and he's going to evolve into Megidramon and just start milling. And as you can see, we milled a bunch of good option cards there. Not the end of the world. It just is what it is. We're going to evolve into Ragna here. Put Guy underneath, so it's a free evolution. And we're going to Delicate Plan, get 2 free checks. But of course, it doesn't matter when you're hitting into Galmon and Tie. So we gave this guy a bunch of value off those checks. Kind of upset about that. Look, he already has Galmon. Of course, we don't have a lot of dudes on board, so it doesn't really matter. I think from here, we're just going to play another Bri. Yeah, try to get more Ragnas to stick on the game. Because if we're going to be checking 2 security at once and also have a blocker on board, we might as well try to stick it as much as we can, especially when these guys are sticking. So that's the game plan for me right now. We'll see what my opponent does here. He's gonna Gaia Force, kill my Ragna, but this is kind of what I was expecting, which is why I put down another Bri. So we're gonna evolve into Ragna and then do the whole thing all over again, and probably just swing another 2. So double Gallantmon, or another Gallantmon and a Agumon. Like this man is hitting I'm hitting into some strong security for sure. We're gonna go ahead, just try to get more pieces ready. Grab only a Zuba. Once again, probably should have swung first before I played stuff, because once again, not used to the fact that, you know, he probably just is going to hit all, I'm going to hit all the Geo Greymons, but nothing dies when hitting security, which means these guys will survive, but 100% should have played after I swung. Just wasn't super sure how I was going to approach the turn until after I swung with Ragna. So I guess, you know, hindsight's 2020, but he has a huge board. But obviously I still have all my security, and I'm super confident in my security too. There should be a lot of bombs and strong Digimon in there as well. One thing I do wish I did play though was more blockers. That way a blocker could come out of security and I could immediately use it. Definitely would have helped me in that last game for sure. If I were to play this format again, which by the way, in the comments down below, let us know if you guys want to see us do this again, or if any format at all you want to see from that list that I showed you in the beginning of the video. Rise Gray immediately pops one of the blockers so that I can have more aggression next turn. Ludamon comes into play, so I get to search. I'm gonna block this guy because it has +1 check. For sure want to block it, but he will pop my Ludamon in the process. And I'll draw a few cards from my Izzy and Joe. Now he's debating if he wants to keep swinging or not, which I don't blame him. Ideally, I find Ultimate Flare and I can just kill these Agumon as well as like Magidramon, like, but through Digivolution, so I don't activate his ability to summon a Galamon for sure. But, you know, my boards, like, overall, I think I have the advantage in this game. He only has 4 security left. I have 4 Digimon. And one of them is a big beefy 2 swinging Ragna. He needs to start crashing into my guys, which as you see he's going to start doing now. Start crashing into my Greymon, filling up my own trash as well, so Galamon becomes more potent. But he's going to evolve into Lava and swing over my Gray. So now I'm down to only 2 Digimon, but one of them has 2 checks, which is nice. As long as I don't hit into like... Oh, there's the Gaia Force. So obviously no more Ragna, but if I can get the Ragna pieces in hand right now with the ability of Luda, I can evolve my Rise Gray into Bry and then do the Ragna stuff. But unfortunately, as you saw, my Luda whiffed, so we're going to play Zuba. And I'm sorry you guys can't see the cards I'm revealing. It's a little bit off screen. Had to cut it so that everything looks good. But unfortunately, my Zuba whiffed too. And I know there's not that many cards up to my deck, so I essentially looked at my whole deck, and now I know I don't have any more Ragnas in the deck, dude. I am out of Ragnas. I've only seen 2, which means there should be either 1 close by, or it's just an all in security. And Ragnas in security isn't like amazing for me, because unless I'm gonna be swinging, unless I survive the turn, Ragnas don't do much in security. So it is a little bit, I mean, it's cool that I can hard play the level 7, but without the stuff underneath it, it becomes almost pointless. I'm going to go ahead and just pop one of the Agumons, the one with the 1k boost. I was trying to figure out what was the baby underneath the other guy, but it doesn't really matter. So we still have 4 bodies on board. Obviously, only one of them swung. I'm trying to decrease his bodies as well. Magidramon is still a threat. But I still have quite a few security. We're both getting closer and closer to deck out. I think I have, like, at this point in the game, 14 cards. I remember 14 being a relevant number. I did just play these games yesterday, so they're kind of still fresh in my head. And then my opponent, Gyro, probably only has like 5 or 10, somewhere around that number. He definitely has a lot less because he's still an evolution based deck. He's drawing more than I am. So at this point, I'm just gonna keep playing the game because eventually I'm gonna deck him out. He can't evolve into Magidramon. He can't do Agumon stuff because he's going to lose most of his security in the process, and that'll make him draw even more cards. He can't even raise an Agumon from security because he'll draw a bunch of cards using his ties because they're non-optional effects. So there's a lot going in my favor here for sure. So we'll see what my opponent does. But he's on the Gaia Force. Just kill my Bry. He knows to fear the Ragna. Going all the way to 10 memory here. Let's see what we can do here. I think what I'm just going to do is I'm going to Ultimate Flare for sure. I'll just kill a bunch of his boys. So 2 bodies gone. So I can't get surprised swept in security. Because I'm going to swing here in security. And here's another misplay I made. 100% should have swung first and then played Ultimate Flare. Because look, I just summoned 2 more Agumons. And this is where, once again, the idea of me being just not used to the fact that stuff can just come out of security comes into play, especially rookies, dude. So yeah, definitely should have Ultimate Flared first. Definitely should have swung first and then ultimate flare, so I wouldn't have to use 2 ultimate flares that turn. So that's a big misplay on my part, but these things happen. These things definitely happen for sure. Next time I'll try to play a few more test games before we start recording so that I can get a little bit more familiar with these games. But that's fine for now because here I'm excited. He's going to clear my board because swing and then war ground was effect. So board is cleared. Now I'm in the back foot again. Even though he only has 2 security, I have nothing, and he can constantly delete my guys. Like he is so set up. He's only played I think 2. I believe only 2 Gaia Forces so far. Oh, 3 Gaia Forces. So there's one more Gaia Force left in his deck. So I have to be really wary of the fact that that exists. So I can't just play stuff willy-nilly. We're counting up because obviously Gallimon is a threat that can happen at any point. And he's going to play another tie, or play his first tie. Now the question is, how am I going to respond to all this? I'm going to play my own Rise, pop one of his Greymon, and I can't play babies, so we're just going to go ahead, Ultimate Blaster, kill this guy, and go from there, see what happens. 3 cards have left in my hand, so things are not looking great on my end either, but we do have a body at least. We can swing next turn. He only has 4 cards left in deck. And once I get to the 5 number, so let me tell you guys the story of this game. As you can tell, I'm carefully counting what he has in security, what he has played versus his trash. Because we've been playing for like an hour altogether, I was thinking that this is his very last Megidramon. I'm like, sick. He swung with his last Megidramon. He can't deck me out anymore. Or he played his last Megidramon, I mean. He can't deck me out anymore. He has no more Megidramons. I'm chilling from here on out. I don't have to worry about being decked out. I'm just going to go ahead and start swinging, going to start drawing, do things like that. I'm not too worried about it anymore because I should win this game one way or another. I don't think there's any cheese he can give me. We're going to just play a big blocker because why not? So from here, I'm just like, okay, we're cool. We're chill. Things should be okay. He's going to get the AURABOMB out of security. First time we're seeing it. I don't think he's going to use it at all, though. He's going to swing. I'm debating if I want to block, but then he could summon Gallimon if I block, so we're not going to block here. I mean, maybe I could have if I had a removal spell in my hand, but I'm guessing at this point in the game, I probably don't. I only have a 3-card hand, but they could all be removal spells for all I know. I don't actually remember. It's not like it really matters though, because it doesn't matter what dies, they both only, and there's okay, this is the last Megidramon. I'm sorry guys, this is where I start going, oh yeah, I don't have to count anymore because this is the last Megidramon. He's already evolved into 1, I think. Okay, but anyways, the point of the story is I miscounted. I didn't remember that he has 1 more left. I thought he had none left because I got my games confused, but I'm going to go ahead, play Ultimate Flare and play Iron Fist to kill both the guys. And now I should be able to win next turn, or at least in 2 turns. He's going to go ahead and swing Crash just to summon Gallimon. I'm going to try my best to remove the Gallimon here. Now here's where things are interesting. He's going to play Mono. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to win with Mono here for sure. Obviously, there's not even a Digimon on my board. I could play Goonimon if I had it, but I don't play Goonimon. Big spoiler. But yeah, I'm definitely afraid of that Gallimon. I want to remove that Gallimon. So we're just going to play this guy, remove his blocker for next turn, and then we're going to Gaia Force the Gallant, giving him 8 memory. And this was the biggest misplay of the game. That combined with the fact that, you know, it's been a long day, I wasn't counting. All he has to do here is unfortunately evolve into Megidramon, which once again I did miscount, which is all my fault. You know, it was a good game though. If I didn't miscount, obviously we would have won that game because he just doesn't have, I don't think he had any more Gaia Forces. I think the last one was Insecurity. I don't remember. It was a long day of playing, but yeah, he just milled me out. And that's going to be the series, guys. Hopefully you guys like the series. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. We're going to be doing more ideally. So let me know what formats you guys want to see me play. We'll see us play. And I will catch you guys next time. Peace.